Here comes another multi-tool for your consideration, dudes. If you like high quality, good looks, elegance in form and function, and high value, it's time now to take a close look at the Victorinox Swisstool Spirit models. Unless you're a tradesman of some sort, maybe in construction, an electrician, my video, the multi-tool continuum, I introduced what I feel are real Trek, because they're light, they're compact, it has a file in it, which I've used, as you can see, but so is the Victorinox. It's just not one hand deployable. It's just a great pen blade. Though is going to add a little bit of weight to your loadout, but it's to what I've referred to, and I just said a little while ago, design elegance. It's the same weight. Both of these are about 10.5 ounces, 10.2 to be exact. For this one, hello world, you have tuned in to the Nutnfancy tabletop review of the Victorinox Swisstool Spirit Multi-Tools. This one is a plus model. It's going to serve as a foundation and the focal point of the review. I'll tell you about the other differences as we go along in my Nutnfancy talking points, and I'll probably mix up information as I go, forget some stuff, have to annotate it forever. That always takes me forever. You know how it goes. I'll do my best. This multi-tool rocks. It's in the medium duty multi-tool category. Reference my multi-tool continuum video. I talked about all the philosophy as I see it with MTs, as I call them. You can reference that if you want. I won't roll in a ton of philosophy in this video, so I can make it maybe a little bit more expeditious and shorter in length. That's the category. Medium duty, meaning that this is a multi-tool that can tackle everyday cutting tasks, driving tasks with the drivers which are included. Basically, if you have it on your person, you're going to save the day. I remain amazed at how many people still do not carry their multi-tools on their person or their Swiss Army knives on their person. They just don't. Even TMPers that I run into occasionally, you know, dude, you got your multi-tool on you? No. Wah, wah, not cool. Dude, when you have so many great options like this Swisstool Spirit model, there's really no reason you shouldn't have one. At least in, I don't know, a light duty one, kind of like my ultra favorite Leatherman S2 Juice, which I've talked about at length. Philosophy of use, it's all that I've said before in previous reviews. Mostly everyday carry. You know, just like I said, being able to save the day because you have tool capabilities on your person. If you're a soldier, a law enforcement officer, it's also great to have along. It's a great way to fix a weapon that's broken down, you know, adjust optics of all types and descriptions. On and on we can go about all the different applications you can put your MT in. Materials, next talking point on the Swisstool Spirit, 100% stainless steel, no plastic. Some will say the stainless steel of Victorinox is a little bit soft. I will agree with that. The upside of that, at least when we're talking about the knife blades, is that you can sharpen them easily. Also, this has individual springs for each tool, 10 to be exact, and I think Victorinox calls them the easy kickback springs. So very nice, and I'll talk about, actually let me just show you now. That actually results in a very precision lockup and a nice snick when that tool is deployed, just like we talked about in the Swisstool review that I did earlier. Just a great quality level that you see throughout the tool. One thing that I'm bummed about, and this isn't just with Victorinox, it's all multi-tool manufacturers, it seems, other than Leatherman, not user serviceable because they've riveted the handles together. That kind of sucks. Hate that. By way of reference, here comes another reference multi-tool. The Leatherman Charge, TI or TTI or AL, they're all basically the same. Notice that you can take it apart, and that's what enabled me to Duracoat this particular model you've seen in front of the camera several times. In the medium category, as I set forth in the multi-tool continuum video, I look for a weight between 5 to 10 ounces. This one is 7.4 ounces naked. Excuse me. In other words, without all the accessories that the Plus model comes with. I'll show you that in a sec. That is a decent carry weight for all the tools you're going to get inside. With the driver bits, with the Swisstool Spirit Plus model, 12.4 ounces. And a very savvy viewer will say, well, that would make it flex into the heavy duty category. And you're right, because the only thing I really take into account is weight when I'm talking categorically on a multi-tool. But 7.4 ounces for all the tools you get, seamlessly transitioning to the next talking point, is an amazing weight. This little multi-tool has a lot in it. I'm going to start off with a very controversial feature of this multi-tool, and that is the butter blade. This is a funky sheep's foot blade that some guys like, some don't. I tend to side with the people that don't like it. It does have some advantages in that it might have some rescue cutting capability. I haven't tested that myself. In other words, we could slide that under a seat belt in a pant leg without risking cutting the individual and affecting the cut that way. Rescue cutting capabilities aside, I am concerned that you may not be able to keep this blade sharp over time. Most users won't be able to sharpen it. There might be some experts that can slap it on their sharp maker or whatever and be able to touch up those serrations over time. Keep in mind the Victorinox steel is a little bit soft. The edge will go dull eventually, and you'll be faced with a butter blade that you may not be able to put an edge on again. And it's kind of chisel ground due to the serrations, and it continues here on this short run plain edge. Not super digging it. I haven't used it a lot though. I might change my opinion over time if I use it. I also kind of lament the fact that we don't have a sharp point to dig out splinters with and do fine detail work. Okay, if I were you, this is, by the way, is a Swisstool Spirit Plus model. If I were you, I would probably go with the Spirit X model if you are like me and don't dig this blade. It has all the same tool set except it has a regular Victorinox clip blade in it, which I dig. If you want to go with the Spirit S model, and I'm jumping ahead to variations, that comes with no scissors, a clip blade, and also the butter blade, the one I just showed you, incidentally. By the way, on this model, I engraved blade there so I can tell where it's at. It'd be kind of nice if they had an icon there for deployment. Why is that? Because if you do need to use it for rescue cutting, I don't want to be fooling around wasting time tool digging in my multi-tool. By the way, there's that lockup again. Nice and tight. Listen to the precision on that. Victorinox just does such an amazing job. Okay, tool review continuing. Love this. This was in the Swisstool. It's also in the Spirit model. This is a chisel scraper with 2 wire strippers. The small one and then the round cutter and also wire stripper here. And they call this part right here, and I really don't know what that is, they call it an isolation length cutter. Look in the comments. I'm sure someone will show up that knows what exactly that is. I don't. I do know about that though. That chisel is awesome, and it's a great feature to have. There's no other multi-tools I know currently, things will change, that have that capability with it. This is a great tool to have. You can ding it up because, again, with that Swisstool, I learned by digging some metal out of a log, it will ding up nicely if you're not careful with it. Another great feature of the Spirit model, strong crate opener and screwdriver. Incidentally, this is a 6mm blade on here. There's a wire bender, cap lifter as well, and strong crate opener. Look how long that is. Okay, that gives you some depth and reach and some prying capabilities where you will not have to use your blade. Very functional, very useful, and I've used it on the Swisstool a number of times. There's your reamer right there. Some guys won't like the fact that it's just single-edged or chisel ground, but effective in my test, I think. They call this a multi-purpose hook. As of yet, I haven't found a use for that. Maybe time will change. Here comes a saw. No surprises there. Victorinox design. Decent. It does work. It is small in size, but for a medium-duty multi-tool, to have a saw included is always a plus if you ask me. Here comes your file. There's the wood side. There's the metal side. It's in, actually it has the file pattern on the bottom, so you can groove cut with it, and it's extended all the way to the end. That's a huge plus. Love that. There's the best can opener known to mankind in a multi-tool or pocket knife, the Victorinox model. That's just my own bias. I love it. It just works great. And then there's a 3mm screwdriver on there as well. Love it. Nothing new there. We've seen that many times in review. Here comes your Phillips driver. Notice the long shank once again. Some guys will criticize, hey, I don't like the polish finish on it. It slips out of the screw. As long as you're pushing down, I haven't had that problem. Decent. You only get one though. So, you know, some may have different sizes of Phillips. This one only has one. Here comes your long shank 2mm screwdriver, flat bladed variety. Nice. And here comes another controversial feature of the Spirit model. At least the Spirit Plus. And actually the Spirit X as well, if I'm not mistaken. That is the scissors. These are not standard Victorinox scissors. Notice the difference in design. It's kind of a captive spring design, which is cool. Not really, because it doesn't open very wide. And correctly so, I think some guys are displeased with that. Me included. I would like them to just include the standard Victorinox scissors that open wide enough. That being said, for me, I like having scissors. And that's kind of why I opted for a Swisstool Spirit Plus model. And also, like I said, you could go with the Spirit X. It also has the scissors, if I'm not mistaken. Difference in blade. There. This, by the way, is model 53804. The Spirit S model, again, I'm jumping ahead to variations. The Spirit S model is US number 53809. The Spirit X, that has all the same tool sets, except it has a clip blade, US number 53814. European numbers will be different. Their call system, for whatever reason, is different. Okay, the most important tool to a lot of MT users will be the pliers. By way of reference, here comes a black oxide Swisstool, previously reviewed in the Nutnfancy project. Love it. Notice that the plier head on the Spirit model is going to be a little bit slimmer, more elegant, and opens just a little bit wider, which is unusual. And it has the same type of wire cutter arrangement at the base of the plier jaws. You can see that. In my tests, I find that the Spirit plier head cuts nails quite easily, as long as you can fit it into the hard wire cutter at the base there. You will get a little bit of head flexing, like I demonstrated with the Swisstool, if you're cutting a really big nail. And I would probably be kind of careful not to damage those cutters, because they're non-replaceable, a la Leatherman's Super Tool 300 variety, which I hope to see becomes the industry standard. But decent. These are good, precise pliers. By way of reference, again, the Charge. I love the more slender pliers. Your mileage may vary. You know, guys like different things in their plier heads on their multi-tools. I like more preciseness for untying knots, doing detail work. You can see in the Charge, maybe you can't. They don't quite touch. The tips touch here in the Spirit model. I classify that as a very well-designed plier head. Incidentally, if I'm not mistaken, it inherits from the Swisstool, its larger brother, that plier opening design. So the pliers lock on better when you're loosening a bolt. I think they changed that in 2002 in the Swisstool lineup. This inherits it as well. Next talking point. Dudes, making time. Access and comfort. This is an ergonomic multi-tool. You've probably been able to gather that just by looking at it. See the curvature, which is kind of designed to fit the hand. The corners are rounded in the deployed position. Also in the closed position, and I failed to mention this, all the tools are accessible from the exterior. This is a big deal to me. I love that, especially if you're going to consider using the rescue blade. Okay, you don't have to open up your tool to get to it. And actually, forget rescue, just everyday cutting tasks, this is going to be one of your most accessed items, your main blade. Accessible from the exterior of the Spirit model. Very nicely done. No hard edges that like perhaps we see in the Swisstool. Let's bring on that black oxide one. It also has tools accessed from the exterior, but has that hard rectangular form factor, which is not super comfortable. Very compact and size efficient. And you might make the case that, well, that's kind of a funky looking multi-tool in the closed position. By the way, I got to wipe my greasy fingerprints off. That's maybe a minor downside of these polished Victorinoxes. It's just the way it is. Really nice rust resistance they have on it, but it's going to show fingerprints. Not a big deal with me though. But in the closed position, it almost looks like it's not closed. Okay, and initially that kind of bugged me. It's just, I don't know, man. It just bugs me. It's just a little thing. I know, it's weird. But compared to you know, the Swisstool, which is closed and size efficient, it just looks like it's not quite there. Very minor point, but that has to do with the ergonomics of the multi-tool. Again, in the deployed position, that bend is made evident how it fits the hand. So I would say the ergonomics are outstanding on it, and all the shoulders are radiused. The locking capability of the pliers, if I didn't say so already, excellent. Nice snick, very positive detents in the deployed position. I've already talked about how each tool deploys with Victorinox-like quality. Nice snick. That's what the word is. It snicks into position. Excellent. How about toughness and strength? Well, I haven't hard tested this multi-tool. Maybe over time I will. If I find out something negative, I'll be sure to let you know. I anticipate it to be a very durable and tough multi-tool as long as you don't do something stupid with it. Okay, you might make the case, well, it doesn't have a super high quality, if you can get past the goofiness of that blade, it doesn't have a super high quality blade steel. You know, like the Charge series oftentimes will make an option available of 154 cm, even S30V, hard wearing steels for the main blades, although they're harder to sharpen. That's really the softer steels, which are highly rust resistant and also very user serviceable, kind of have always been Victorinox's game, haven't they? All of their knives are that way. The Swiss Army knives, I've never thought, you know, this knife blade sucks. The reason it doesn't suck is because you can resharpen it so quickly and easily. So, and it also lends itself to not breaking. It will bend instead of snap and chip. That is a big plus to the stool that I can't believe I said did I say that? Oh, I screwed up. I have to dovetail that somewhere. It will not bend. Oh, I just screwed up. I'll have to dovetail it in. It won't chip and break like some steels. It will bend, and that kind of makes it a little bit tougher. So toughness and strength, I would say, to be outstanding for its category of multi-tool, which is medium category. I kind of already talked about the variations. We got the Swisstool Spirit Plus model you're looking at, the Spirit X, the Spirit S, and I forgot to tell you about the toolkit, which comes with a Plus model. Okay, I said that the design is elegant in nature, and it is, but if you take this into account, the accessory toolkit, I don't think it's very elegant. That's just me. In this carry case, which is included in the sheath of the Spirit Plus, you will find a hex number 3, number 4, a Phillips, that Phillips bit right there, and then a Torx number 10 and 15. And then you have a driver here, which is separate from the multi-tool. I'm not going to pull it out. You can see it right there. And then, so this is basically its own tool set. And then this is your corkscrew, and inside the corkscrew is a mini jeweler's flat-bladed driver, which is nice to have. Very functional, actually, like for eyeglasses and stuff. I personally don't have a lot of use for corkscrews, so that's just me. And this is how you're going to attach that if you should ever need it. There's the accessory slot. Hang on, I got to get behind the tripod. All right, so there's an accessory and lanyard slot on the back side, both sides of the Spirit model, and you can just slide it in there if you need to use that corkscrew. With this jeweler screwdriver, I just use it separately, like that. So I will say, though, overall, it's kind of an inelegant integration of the multi-tool. If you want to see how to do it right, go to the Leatherman Charge series. They have two-dimensional bit sets, which are very flat. They have integrated drivers in the handle of the multi-tool, so you don't need a separate accessory like this. And also, this adds a lot of weight, about 5 ounces. Not about, exactly 5 ounces to have all this carried along in your pouch. So that will take us to the carry case, actually. This is the leather version. They have nylon versions, and this is the Plus version. So the multi-tool, of course, goes here. Here comes your accessory carry case, and then your corkscrew, and then it all fits like that. Not digging it. I think it's too bulky for me. I don't like the Velcro closure on the leather case. I think it should be a snap. If you're going to go with a traditional material like leather, let's go with a snap as well. Velcro will wear out. It'll fuzz up, and trying to replace this is going to be kind of tough. You could probably glue it on there, on both sides. Actually, it'll work. They do make a tool-only leather pouch, is my understanding. I haven't seen it, and I think that would be a better option as long as you don't want to carry this stuff along. Okay, I think most users will probably opt to leave this stuff at home. On the upside is you can put standard hex driver bits in here and pretty much flesh it out to whatever level you want according to the drivers that you would need. You are going to take along with you, again, the 5 ounces or so, probably heavier if you fill all those available slots up. The carry case is okay. It's easy enough to swap out though. Let's just say, like most users, you're going to carry your multi-tool only, then go with a different carry case. Again, I showed you this Gerber knife pouch that I have, ACU variety. I'm currently using it for my Charge TI, and this would be a good option right here. It's all of $7 or $8. Nice, and it's also MOLLE compatible. What a great sheath that is. Yeah, that has Velcro too, I know. But this is not a traditional carry case. This is modern, you know, Cordura. Here's a carry case you haven't seen before. Handmade by me about 18 years ago. That's right. Heavy duty nylon pack cloth, olive drab variety. I stitched this up for a knife I had at the time. It's got the old military style clips, and let's see if that fits. My point in showing you this is how trim you can get a case. Look at that. Fits a Swisstool Spirit just like perfect. Nice. That's a handmade option. And then here's a Microtech knife sheath that you could have. I show you all this to show you how easy it would be to solve the carry case problem. This is one of my favorite all-around knife pouches / multi-tool pouches right here. No Velcro to wear out there, dudes. Fastex buckle. Very nice. That's a carry case. On to the next talking point. Wrapping it up already? You got to be kidding me. Quality and feel. I think we've covered this in everything else I've said about the Swisstool Spirit series. It's just excellent. You know, look at the polish job on it. Nice rust resistance. This, you know, the precision deployment of all the individual tools as they come out, thanks to the individual springs, is just excellent. It's just an outstanding multi-tool. And it's even more outstanding because the value is so high. Okay, around $55 is what I will ballpark the Swisstool Spirit models at. Incidentally, if you want it in black oxide, you can get it. It's going to be US model 53815. It's basically a Spirit S model in black oxide, and it will look just like this. I like the oxide that Victorinox does. It seems to be pretty durable, doesn't rub off in hand. But for $55, give or take, that is a lot of utility in a 7.4 ounce package, wouldn't you agree? It's also very trim. Comparing it against the Charge by Leatherman, it's going to be slimmer, like that. And maybe a little bit wider in that dimension, but lighter actually. If you can bring yourself to leave behind, I'm talking about the Plus model here, leave behind the extra tools, maybe get a more trim carry case. If you need a carry case, you're going to dig the Swisstool Spirit. And actually it has an advantage over several other multi-tools because it does have that reamer inside. It has the crate opener that I showed you, and it has a chisel scraper. That's a lot of utility. One thing I would like them to integrate in multi-tools in the times to come is maybe a marlin spike for undoing knots and stuff. A little mini marlin spike that comes out and maybe punching holes. That would be wicked. But great multi-tool, high value, good looking. If you can get past my greasy fingerprints, that is a Victorinox Swisstool Spirit Plus, and it's representative of the entire line. Thanks, dudes, for the good ratings. Thanks for the support. Another great multi-tool option. We'll see you.